Hi, we're Kitteh, and you're watching Behind the Beat.
When people hear our music, we want them to feel turned, lit, hard. I want them to feel included, and that when they come to a show, that it's a safe space.
They can be themselves, express themselves.
Exactly.
So it's definitely electronic music, more on like the pop side or mainstream side of EDM, radio friendly, but also main stage friendly.
I would let a fan decide where that falls because I don't want to ruin whatever they're feeling when they hear the music.
It's darker because it's a darker song and it was a dark time.
I think it's something really beautiful when you're able to find that middle ground with somebody else. I'm a vocalist and I'm also an independent filmmaker. So I directed our music video, and anything that's with like graphic design and outside of the music from singing, that's usually me. Photography, video.
Well, I definitely do most of the production, sound design, engineering side of it. When we create a song, there's never really one set process, I would say. In the case of Quarantine Valentine, though.
So it started with the lyrics, and then we were like, okay, how do these lyrics sound? I started singing a riff, and then from there, he came up with the instrumental, which accompanied the vocal.
Probably 2010, 2011. But then when I moved out to Los Angeles in 2013 and went to Icon, it's really when I started changing gears and focusing more on production than just the DJing. I was very fortunate enough to be in class with some fantastic artists that I'm sure a lot of you see on the main stage today, so yeah, I was very blessed.
Trauma. Trauma drives my music creation.
I think that's definitely part of it. I think a big thing, not only with like making music, but like going to shows is like just having like the release of, emotions and tensions and just getting to let go and not have to worry about it. And I think it's really healthy for people to do that. Not to mention you're also around a lot of other like-minded people that are generally really friendly. And so I think producing is just like kind of my way of being able to help push that even further, because that way that I'm the one that's like bringing everyone together and providing that for other people.
Music always helped me get through tough times, so it only made sense that during the lockdown, I decided to apply those emotions and that creativity towards making a song that would maybe help other people relate. So that was really the goal with Quarantine Valentine.
When I went to college, that's when Skrillex really started popping off, like 2009, 2010, his really early stuff. Casper Rusko, that was like the early on, like heavy bass music that I really fell in love with. The first like big show that I ever played was like opening for Rusko and Casper on a side stage and the Rave in Milwaukee.
I'm inspired by Apache and Spangle, albeit very different styles, I think, but to me, they're both very incredibly talented producers and artists. Current social media trends are to make songs shorter and shorter, albeit because of maybe attention spans are getting shorter, who knows. But I think it's really important as an artist to stay true to yourself, and I'm hoping that along the line, we're able to make that musical manifesto, that full album.
It starts off with like a winding up of like a toy box basically, or like a music box, and then that goes into like a very kind of ethereal sounding like chime bell. So I chose that because it creates this kind of tension and drama just right off the bat, and it ties into the whole theme of the Quarantine Valentine, like the song in itself, and it being kind of a dark, weird time that we've been going through.
So the lyrics are really about our relationship with technology and how, in a way, it's connecting all of us, but at the same time, it's isolating us. And instead of being closer to the people we love, we're actually more distant physically, which creates this feeling of loneliness. I'm classically trained in piano and voice, so lots of times I tend to vocal produce. So when I decide what sounds I want, I will sing them to my co-producer here, and so I think sometimes we just like the way that sounds, and then we just go with it. At the very beginning of the song, underneath the verse, there is a musical ba-da-dee-da, which kind of sounds like ba-da-dee-da-dum, da-dum, da-da-da-dee-da. And so the drop actually is based off of chops that were taken from that little blurb, so to say. Ba-da-dee-da-dum, da-dum, ba-da-da-dee-dum, ba-da-dee-da-dum, da-dum, ba-da-da-dee-dum.
And then I'll just play this whole intro so you can hear it with everything together.
Very drone makes me feel all alone.
That's the intro, and then as far as the vocal chops for the drop. So the chorus is basically inspired by the fact that for some reason in the English language, quarantine and Valentine are spelled the same, but we pronounce them completely differently.
Exactly.
And so it's kind of a play on words. It says, will you be my Valentine stuck inside of a quarantine? I'll make you my Valentine if we survive quarantine.
Quarantine Valentine. I wanted the track to really inspire people to move as well, and as much as I loved the tempo at the beginning, I felt that the chorus just sounded better faster.
So as far as like playing live, it can be like more complicated because if you're used to using like auto cue, for instance, and you're just like, oh, all my songs should match up, it's not going to work. But if you know like you want to transition between two different tempos, it's fantastic for that because it opens up at 114, which is pretty much your standard Moombahton song, and then it transitions to 140, which is pretty standard dubstep tempo. So it makes it more of like a resource and a tool as well.
So the BPM in Quarantine Valentine changes just because we just really wanted to emulate the feeling of the pandemic and how it was always like, go, 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 and then, oh, just kidding, everybody go back home, stay safe, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that's why the track is kind of a little bit of a roller coaster.
As far as the drop's concerned, I wanted to keep it simple to some extent. I've got those big kind of dark horns that are going underneath. As far as the vocal chops, that was pretty much inspired from Dimitra having sung the ba-da-dee-das in the beginning. We pitched it down and it just sounded great.
Will you be my Valentine?
The ba-da-dee-das kind of play like a harmony melody in the background as well.
We really wanted it to sound almost robotic.
People are all watching porn. Don't need to be asking for more. We'll
Bring everything to your door.
For processing like vocals, Little Altar Boy is great, and then obviously auto-tune is fantastic. It's great to just be able to manipulate the vocals to smooth them out or make them fit to the song the way that you want. As far as like sound design and everything, Serum is a go-to. I also like Silent for a lot of it's like super simple synths, and like it's really great for layering. But yeah, I think that's obviously all the Waves plugins are great. As far as sweeps and crashes, I do a lot of, I'll take like a sound that's already there, like for instance like the horn, and I'll take it, I'll extend it out, or like record the reverb on it and then cut that, flip it and reverse it, and use that for like my sweeps.
There is that long crash in the middle, which is used as a transition back into the music box sound.
Survive quarantine, teen.
as you'll notice on the screen, in the screen recording too, that's actually where the tempo changes. It's stretching out because it's slowing down. So it adds like a whole another layer of just ear candy, I think, to the sound itself.
The first time we performed Quarantine Valentine live, I was really nervous about it because I didn't know how a crowd was going to receive it. But it turned out to be really well received and everybody started dancing, so it worked out.
Well, obviously, like this first song, Quarantine Valentine, it's a little bit darker, a little bit edgier. But I think, as you'll see with our upcoming releases, it's going to be a little bit more happy. In the long run, we want to be able to use this momentum to be able to tell these stories and be able to make music that's purely artistic and not necessarily as deliberate.
I think one way that we're evolving is by diving into the NFT world. So we will be doing a drop through OpenSea. It'll be called the Quarantine Valentine Collection by Kitteh. And with each purchase, you will get discounts on merchandise, free merchandise, depending on which tier you purchase. You'll be added to our VIP list. You'll get access to our music video, which has not been publicly released yet.
I would love to, Rothbury was my first festival, so Electric Forest, I think, hey, there's something about it that just special and magical. I think headlining that would be pretty spectacular.
As much as I love main stage and really big festivals, I actually really appreciate intimate shows. So for me, I think the dream would be to have my VIP crowd at an exclusive show and just kind of take it to the next level of what it means to perform live, and maybe include holograms, maybe, just include factors that you wouldn't normally see on a stage. That's my dream show.
Coming up very soon, we'll be releasing a new single, but we've also got a pretty solid amount of music lined up to release throughout the rest of the year as well, so it's going to be pretty busy for us. Hey, thanks for watching Behind the Beat.
We're Kitteh, and you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok, Kitteh x Kitteh.
Well.